recently found a really fun route to project on for the next week, but it's on a slab. So I decided it was time to share with you guys my routine for training for slabs. If you are working on a climb that's on a slab or you want to get better at slab climbing, then you're definitely going to want to watch this video as I walk you through what I do during a climbing session to train for exactly that, using drills. And stay to the end because I'm going to be sharing tips for climbing on slabs as well that are going to help you finish those really difficult routes. But first, what is slab climbing, or what's climbing on a slab? A slab is any route that's 90 degrees or greater, so you're not going to be hanging back or leaning back like you would in an overhang. Additionally, it usually requires a lot of focus on your feet, and as they get harder, their handholds are typically pretty poor. This means that it's going to require a lot of balance and trust in your feet. With that in mind, let's talk about what I do during a climbing session to train for slab climbing. First thing, after I warm up for about 10 to 15 minutes, is I'm going to go into drill number one. Drill number one is traversing. This is a great drill for practicing shifting your weight over your feet, which is an essential skill when it comes to successfully climbing on slabs. Now, for this drill, you're going to find a slab wall, and instead of going up routes like you would typically, you're actually going to go from side to side for 10 minutes. Then you're going to rest for 5 minutes, and you'll do that 2 times. While you're traversing, you're not just going to go from hold to hold. You're going to want to make sure that your hips stay square to the wall, and this is specifically because that's what we're going to be training on slabs, rocking the weight using your hips over your feet, and then you're going to try and use as little pressure on your hands as possible. So sometimes you will need to grip on those holds, but try and prevent over gripping or anything like that because we really want the focus in our legs right now. Additionally, you're going to practice doing crossovers where you cross your feet over, as well as different types of feet switching. This is for 10 minutes, so it's going to take a long time going back and forth, but going both to the right and to the left is a great way to get your skill set for both movements, as slabs typically does have going to the right and going to the left. The next drill is called toe stabs, and this is all about the precision of your feet. When it comes to climbing on slabs, your feet have to be really precise and you have to trust your feet. So this is a drill that's going to help you with that. What you're going to do is stand a leg's length away from a wall, maybe a little bit less than a leg's length, and you're going to, while wearing your climbing shoes, balance on one foot for the entirety of this drill. And with one foot in the air, say your left foot, you're going to place it on a hold and put a little bit of weight on it and then bring it back, and then place it on a different hold, put a little weight on it, bring it back. And you're going to do this 20 times on each foot. Again, during these times, you're not going to be placing your foot down at all. You're going to be balancing on the opposite foot the entire time. After you've done that drill, it is time to go into the next one without any rests. And the next drill is down climbing. Down climbing is a perfect way for training weight in your legs if you do it correctly. So I'm going to walk you through how you should do this correctly. First off, you're going to find a longer route or a taller route. You can even do this on top rope or sport routes. And what you're going to do is once you get to the top, you're going to repeat the route going downward. But instead of letting your body down with your arms like a reverse pull-up, you're going to let your body down with your legs. Hopefully you're able to put all of your weight in your legs if you're doing this correctly. It's going to be tiring, but this is a really good drill. And instead of doing this on a couple of routes, I actually recommend doing this drill for 10 minutes, 5-minute break, and then repeat one more time. So a total of 2 times where you're putting all of your weight in your feet. A little tip on this drill is as you're climbing up, pay attention to what holds you're using with your feet and your body position so that you can repeat that on the way down. You don't want to spend a ton of energy trying to find where to put your feet on the way down. You really want to focus a lot of your time on putting your weight in your feet, so you're doing a lot of squats and lunges. Now this next drill is really one if you have extra time, but it's not one that I typically do because it is really challenging, and that is no hand climbing. Some gyms actually set routes specifically for no hand climbs, and if that's the case in your gym, then definitely do this drill. Otherwise, it might be just a fun 5 or 10 minute problem where you're going to find a route on a slab and try out doing no hand climbing. At this gym, I wasn't able to find any no hand climbs, which is why it's not something that I like put permanently in my routine, but it is a really good one of practicing getting your footwork right, trusting your feet, rocking your hips over those feet, and really balancing. So you're definitely going to want to try this if you have the opportunity to, but if not, that's okay. It's something you can work up to, and maybe just keep an eye out for the future of when your route setters create one that's meant for no hands. And just a fun little tidbit about this, I was actually talking to Kyra Condi in my interview with her. She said this is one of her favorite kinds of climbs because it is mentally challenging and it's different than any other kind of climbing that she does. That's a little over an hour's worth of routine. So let's talk about those bonus tips that I mentioned earlier. The first bonus tip here is to keep your heels low. When it comes to climbing on slabs, we're likely going to be smearing a little bit, maybe on volumes, and and getting as much friction on your feet as possible is going to help you feel more confident in your feet. Getting your heel down lower puts a little bit more of your shoe's surface on the holds as well, so that's a great way to add friction. Next tip is to keep your hips directly above your feet. Now, a lot of times we talk about keeping your hips as close to the wall as possible, but when it comes to slabs, sometimes your feet are going to be behind the wall slightly, just with the angle of the wall. In these cases, you want to make sure that you have your hips over your feet directly, otherwise they could slip out from underneath you. When it comes to slab climbing, it can be really tempting to move our hands and then use our hands to pull our weight in a specific position. But the harder the routes are, the less likely it is that you'll be able to put much pressure or much weight in just a single hand. Because of this, you need to make sure that you're moving your feet before you move your hands. I know we say that with other climbs, but this is especially true with slab climbing, and this will allow you to really shift your weight. Additionally, when considering moving your feet and things like that, you may feel like your feet are in the right position and you just can't reach that next hold. You may need to shift your hips over 1 foot to give you a couple extra inches to reach that last hold. I want to thank everyone who joined our Patreon. I'm really excited for the community that we're building. It's not too late for you to join the community. If you want to have the benefits of being part of the Send It Squad, check out the links below. But again, thank you everyone who participated in the launch special. I'm ordering the stickers this week, and I will send an update to you guys with when those delivery times are.